The Skinner Auto Group in Richfield Springs and Turnbull Insurance Service since 1866 present Mohawk Valley Living, exploring the arts, culture, and heritage of our region. A special good morning to Anthony and Utica, who gets up and going with the show. Part 2 of our road trip to Oneonta has been postponed until next week. Lance is recuperating from a back injury. He worked through last week's show, but on doctor's orders, he is on bed rest this week. Because Lance does all the filming and editing of the show, we really can't go on without him. So he has dug deep into the archives to bring you some highlights from years gone by.
Good morning and welcome to Mohawk Valley Living. It's the first Sunday in November. There's still some fall left and it's still pumpkin time. I just had some of the most unbelievable pumpkin pie across the street here in Boonville at the Main Street Cafe. The crust is made from real flour from scratch. It's Vermont flour, I'm told. It'll be worth your trip to come up here just for that. Also, when you come to Boonville, be sure to take a look at the architecture, because if you take a peek at the buildings around here, all of them have these very, very interesting architectural cornices, I guess they're called. Take a look when you come to make sure to catch them. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of shopping here in Boonville. We're going to be doing something with curling, and it's not with your hair. And we're also going to Salisbury to visit with a master wood carver. I'm Richard Enders, your host and your tour guide, inviting you to stay tuned.
For more information.
I'm standing in the band shell, I guess it is, or the gazebo in the park here in Boonville. During the summertime, you can come here during the week for concerts. And before too long, there's going to be something going on over there, which I really hesitate to mention, but before too long, Santa Claus will be coming to his little house over there in the park, along with some real reindeer. Now we're going to be visiting with Mark, who is a master chainsaw sculptor, carver. He's in Salisbury at Wintergreen Knoll.
The Academy of Music in Clinton presents our feature artist. Out in the beautiful countryside of Salisbury, we find the home of Mark and Linda Tayo. Nearby is Mark's studio, Wintergreen Knoll, overlooking a still pond. Mark is a master chainsaw carver. An artist since high school, we asked him how he came to making carving his career.
Actually, it was a lack of a secure job. I thought about it for 10 years. I was inspired for 10 years and never tried it, and I was laid off at the time, and it came to me that now was the time to try it, and I tried it and never quit. I've been doing it for 11 years. A really kind lady told me that this was a form of subtractive carving, which I didn't even know at the time. Since then, I realized what it is. My favorite subject matter is bears. I specialize in black bears. I'm heavily inspired by the Black Forest artwork, especially their bear furniture and fantasy furniture. I've just basically researched it enough where I know that they were made from between the late 1800s to the early 1900s. And a lot of them ended up in the Adirondacks, marketed mainly to tourists. See, when people think about chainsaw art, they usually think of a garden statue, and I'd like to take it, a step farther with a little more detail, more useful items such as floor lamps, table lamps, coffee tables, pub tables, bar stools, that kind of thing, using bears as the feature focal points. I belong to an agency, Masters of the Chainsaw, which is a worldwide chainsaw carving agency, and I have been to many of their international extreme power carving championships. Occasionally I win one, and it's a great opportunity. We meet so many people from all over the world, Japan and Scotland and Australia, and guys and girls. This is definitely not just a man's art. I keep at chainsaw carving almost every day. During the summer, 7 days a week, and during the winter, a lot less. Of course, it's more brutal, but I love it. It's been a great lifestyle. It's a great way of life, and even to me, every day it's a new adventure. I never know what I'm gonna make.
Linda helps Mark finish the sculptures by actually burning them and adding a special finish. You can see the sculptures at their store on Route 28 in Forestport. We go from carving to curling and the Utica Curling Club. Although the club is over 135 years old, you'd be surprised how many people know little about it. A visit to their beautiful rink on Clark Mills Road in Whitesboro will teach you a lot about the sport, and you may find out that your friends, neighbors, and even co-workers are closet curlers. We learn the history of the club from past president Carol Jones.
In 1832, the very first curling event was recorded in the area, and it was against the English and the Scottish immigrants. It was also the first year that, the year that Utica actually received its charter. And it was the year that Benjamin Allen came from England and came here to work on the Erie Canal. He was a stone cutter, and he purchased some land where it was called the Ballou Gulf, and it was the old Rutger Street area. And he would get the Gulf and he would flood it in the fall and freeze it for his friends, and then would curl on it in the winter. There's really only 5 curling clubs in New York State. So we have clubs in Albany, Schenectady, Ardsley, New York, and Rochester. But every single week we have events here for our own members, and we have about 230 members here right now that curl anywhere from Ithaca, Syracuse, Old Forge, and as far east as Little Falls. They called the Utica Curling Club their home for curling.
Well, my name's Bill Morehouse. I've been curling for 30 some odd years, since I was 12, so that'd be about 33 years. And we built this new facility in '96, and you can see it behind me here, Utica Curling Club, beautiful facility. Love to have anybody come out and try the game. It's a wonderful sport. All ages, 8 to 88 can play it. And we're more than happy to show people about the sport, because the people who do curl here and are involved really have a passion for the game. Well, the object is to score. You try to get your rocks closer to the center than the other guys, and you can take their stones out with your stones. Each team throws 8 rocks, and you go back and forth. The team that scores gives up the hammer, which is the last rock, and then the team that didn't score would have last rock in the next end. Last rock is crucial, as you can imagine, because it's the last stone at the end, and it controls kind of the scoring. But you play a whole game of chess strategy to set up for that last shot at the end. And you know, as you'll see this coming weekend, the 10th through the 13th of November here at the Utica Curling Club, when the pros play, it really is a chess match, because they make all their shots, and it's really back and forth, everybody trying to set the angle just right for that last shot, and you see some fantastic stuff. Double, triple takeouts, whacking the stones around. It just makes for a great theater, and it's a great show. People can come down. It's open to the public, and we'd love to have people down here and see what we love so much about the game of curling.
My name is Dean Kelly, and I've been playing the sport of curling for 32 years. And it's been a great opportunity to play the game all over the world with a lot of different people that I've met, and it's an opportunity to enjoy the camaraderie of the game and the people that we meet playing the game. November 10th through the 13th, we'll be hosting the New York Curling Open right here at the Utica Curling Club. We're going to have 18 of the best teams in the world coming here to Utica. We have 3 teams that will be playing for the opportunity to participate for Canada in the Olympics, and we'll have 2 teams coming from Scotland, and one of those teams hopes to represent Scotland in the Olympics as well. We also have several past Olympians. The 1998 silver medalist from Canada will be here playing, Mike Harris, and our own team from Utica, Bill Morehouse and myself, will be skipped by a 2002 U.S. Olympian, Don Barkham. So we have several past Olympians coming right here to Utica. It's a great opportunity for the community to come out and see an Olympic sport that will be played in Torino in February of 2006, and see several Olympic players as well as teams that may be participating in those Olympics. Okay. It's also a sport in the Paralympics, and right here in Utica we're going to have the opportunity to pick the Paralympic team for the 2006 Paralympics in Torino, Italy. So that event will be played right here in the Utica Curling Club.
Skinner Auto in Richfield Springs is your Ford store and your local dealer for Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge. You'll find a dedicated sales team ready to serve you and help you find the right vehicle to fit your style and budget. Skinner Auto in Richfield Springs. Now you're thinking smart. In 1866, James B. Turnbull walked to farms and villages to visit his customers, earning their trust. Today, the 4th generation of Turnbulls continue that dedication, tailoring a life insurance plan to suit your unique needs and priorities. Turn to the company that is out there to earn your trust. Turn to Turnbull. Allie Lynn's Home and Accessories for distinctive gifts. For the whimsical. For the bride. For American made. Allie Lynn's Home and Accessories, West Park Row in Clinton. Discover affordable original works of art by dozens of talented local artists at the Artisan's Corner. Find handcrafted tinware, custom lampshades, pottery, jewelry, candles, soaps, and more. All local and all at the Artisan's Corner in Clinton. The Village Hall Gallery in Sharon Springs presents the works of over 24 local artists and now features beautiful Thistle Hill weavings. The Village Hall Gallery in downtown Sharon Springs.
Alex and Nika Restaurant in the heart of Cooperstown. Come in and relax. Fabulous cocktails and eclectic cuisine with something for every taste and budget. Our upstairs dining room is available for parties or private dining. Bring family and friends or that special someone. Alex and Nika Restaurant, open every day for lunch and dinner.
Got a grandchild? Then you gotta get to Cobbler & Company. Their children's area is expanding, including new huggable Sesame Street characters by Gund. And it's your source for Melissa and Doug, from puzzles to puppets, magnets, music, and more. Cobbler & Company in Sharon Springs. Spa services have returned to historic Sharon Springs. Modern spa amenities with old-world hospitality. Give the gift of wellness. Available instantly at springhousespa.com. We visit pretty Main Street in Poland and wonder what it was like when the settlers first developed this region. For a look back, we visit the pretty little stucco building on Main Street, which is the town library, donated to the town by Hattie and John Forrest. Librarian and town historian Paula Johnson recently researched and produced 3 publications about early transportation in the town of Russia.
According to different documentation, back in the mid-1800s, there were more bridges in the town of Russia than anywhere in the area, and it was mainly because we were along Cobrook Stream and West Canada Creek and a lot of feeder brooks, and if people were going anywhere, they had to have bridges. We're not talking our big fancy bridges, we're just talking little plank bridges and ones that the farmer put up for himself. Mud season, you didn't go anywhere, early spring, and winter was the best time to travel because you could go cross country and go over people's fences, and you just had wagons and buggies and sleighs. In any old diary you read, the first thing they mention is the weather, and that's where whether they traveled that day was according to the weather. So you needed bridges just to get from even one village to another.
In the heart of this community was a church established in 1818. The church is still used today on special occasions. Right next door to the church is a tiny little schoolhouse. The church, the schoolhouse, and the surrounding homes are now designated as Russia's historic district. Now it's time for a little modern transportation. We head past the Poland School and Sweetie Pies to the American Legion Post 1118. The Ohio Ridge Riders keep this parking lot and hillside groomed. You can bring the kids sledding or start your snowmobile trip right here.
I'm Carl Irwin, and I've been with the Ohio Ridge Riders since about 1990. Yep. Basically now I'm a snow bash chairman. We have that race every year. And I spend most of my winter grooming the trails with this machine. This is an LMC groomer, track groomer. The club's responsible for like 97 miles of trails. I groom from Norway to Hinckley on a military road, and from Poland to Ohio. And we have another groomer up there that takes care of the northern trails. All depends on the conditions, how much snow we get, but we're usually out every day for 6 or 7 hours a day. It's a real early start this year. Usually, this is the first year I've ever had this groomer out before the first of the year. They always snowmobile before that, but we never have enough snow to groom until January. But this year we're doing a little bit now.
It's a snowmobile's paradise out here, where winter comes early and stays late. From here in Russia, you can head almost anywhere. We head up the trail and into the Adirondack Park. About 20 to 25 minutes from Russia, right on the trail, is Haskell's Restaurant. It was here in 1968 where 9 people got together for the first meeting of the Ohio Ridge Riders.
I probably was one of the charter members back in the 60s. In fact, we met right here in the dining room. and there were probably 8 to 10 members. My husband, Bill, Charlie Redmond, Jim O'Connor, and I don't remember the rest of them. That's quite a few years back. And we just decided we'd get together and perhaps make a clubhouse up and back, which we did. Inn has been here probably since the 30s. John Haskell started the name, and since then there have been quite a few owners. The most memorable ones were Mark Thompson and Lyle Thompson and Hack Coleman. It's a stop on the trail on the main corridor from here to Poland, or from Poland to Pasico. This is right on the main drag, and it's just where you're going to meet all of your friends. If there's a few flakes of snow, we start.
Hi, my name's Gary Van Riper, and welcome to Adirondack Journal. Today we're going to visit the fire tower at Bald Mountain, up along the Fulton chain of lakes. The fire tower at Bald Mountain is just one of 23 fire towers that are left intact in the Adirondack Park. Maybe you're already one of the some 20,000 people that climb Bald Mountain every year, but what you may not realize is as recently as June 18th of this year, the fire tower was completely restored. The fire tower at Bald Mountain was built nearly 100 years ago. It was at a time when fire towers were used for that very reason, to look for fires over the Adirondacks. But with the advent of new technology, fire towers weren't needed anymore. But as these towers in the Adirondacks grew into disrepair, groups of people who saw these places as legendary places or local history decided to band together and to restore them. And we're really fortunate that the one in Bald Mountain has been adopted by people that love that region. And now as you climb that fire tower and get the view that those rangers had even 100 years ago and look over the great expanse of the Fulton chain, on a clear day you can see even 55 miles away and see the highest point in New York State, which is Mount Marcy. So come on up and visit Bald Mountain. It's just a short drive between Old Forge and Eagle Bay, and take a turn on the Rondax Road. You'll have a commanding view of the Fulton chain of lakes. It's beautiful. So you can add that page to your Adirondack Journal.
The automobile has gone through many changes through the years, but the Turnbull family's commitment to local drivers has not. Researching and selecting the best coverage for you with unparalleled service, claims handling, and settlement. Turn to a local company with 4 generations of knowledge and experience. Turn to Turnbull. Visit Trenton Teas, specializing in only premium quality teas, the finest varietal and herbal teas available. Nearly 100 different teas and tea accessories and scone mixes. Come in and sample teas of distinction at Trenton Teas in downtown Utica.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Bringing your cat to the Paris Hill Cat Hospitals on Sundays is a part of Mohawk Valley living. Come inside and see why.
Paris Hill Cat Hospital, this is Lindsay. How can I help you? Your cat is losing weight and you need an appointment, and you're only available on the weekend. Sure, I have an appointment Sunday with Dr. Karen. Does that fit into your schedule? Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you.
We're open 7 days a week because we know that your cat can become ill anytime. The Paris Hill Cat Hospital, quality care for your cats and kittens.
Visit Maria's Pasta Shop for Italian gift baskets, and be sure to order your holiday party trays. Impress your friends and family with homemade pasta from Maria's Pasta Shop, Oneida Street in Utica. Where can you find fair trade, local, and organic gifts like Dean's Beans coffee, fresh bulk almonds and cashews, and hand-dipped candles and local pottery? Tom's Natural Foods in Clinton, naturally. The dessert booth is now open for dinner on Friday nights. Enjoy vegetarian seafood or the popular tapas, something for every taste and budget, at the dessert booth in Clinton. Visit the Little Falls Antique Center and the Shops at 25 West for an ever-changing selection of antiques and collectibles from over a dozen antique dealers. Upstairs at the shops, find over 30 more vendors like Gaia's Garden for altered clothing and paper products by some extremely creative women. And We Wear Vintage, vintage clothing and accessories for those who like to dress up. There's also Jake's Bakes, handmade wheat-free treats for your dog. Visit the Little Falls Antique Center and the Shops at 25 West on your next visit to beautiful Canal Place in Little Falls. Spring color is peeking through at the Village Crossing. It's a great time for sales on winter clearance items, making way for new spring fashions arriving daily at the Village Crossing in Clinton. We head from Burlington Flats, about 5 miles south, to West Burlington, to the West Burlington Pizzeria and Deli. The new owner, Bradley, puts his own spin on pizza with great combinations like barbecued rib pizza, breakfast pizza, Philly cheese pizza, and seafood pizza with his own homemade Alfredo sauce.
I've owned this place in just over 4 months. Just something I'd like to do. I like making food. It's fun. We do the seafood pizza. Let's see. We do the rib, the chicken wing, really anything you want. Different kinds of sauces we use, Alfredo sauce, a lot of different things.
When I was talking to Bradley about his food here, he was rather modest. He shouldn't be, because the Rockin' Reuben was just that. It was rockin', and believe it or not, it's only $4.99. You can also get homemade pasta, homemade desserts. It's hard to believe that in such a small town you can find a young restaurateur who is really putting in all of his effort to make this a very, very, the fine restaurant right here in this little town of West Burlington.
When you drive along Route 80 in West Burlington, you can't help but notice the beautifully upkept buildings and sign inviting you to the Owl and Moon. This tiny little gift shop is brimming with jewelry, handbags, specialty foods and teas, face and body care products, and books, including children's books by the owner's daughter. With all of the beautiful carpentry work, it came as little surprise when the owner, Lori, told us that her husband restores period homes. Busy in the back barn is Jim Briggs. He and his son Jared are currently restoring an 1810 Georgian home in the village of Morris. Other projects they've worked on include the restoration of the Sanger Mansion in Waterville and building doors for the Otesaga Hotel in Cooperstown. We head back north to Burlington Flats to a colorfully curious woodworker's shop. Jonathan Dowdle has been carving his own decoys since he was a boy. Although most of his work is collected as art, his sculptures are functional. The functionality is for the hunter in him, the painstaking detail in the painting for the artist.
Well, I've always been a duck hunter, and I like making things that I use myself, my own equipment. So I started making decoys, about 35 years ago. First ones were very crude out of construction lumber. And like anything else, when you stick to it, you start to progress and you just get better and better at it. Well, it's important to me is the history behind decoys. It's truly a part of American history because we're the only country in the world that's used them for a long period of time. The oldest ones known were found in Nevada in a cave. They were made by Native Americans and they've been dated at 1,500 to 2,000 years old. And they hit their heyday here just after the Civil War. And that's what we refer to as the market gunning era, where people made their living by shooting wild game and selling it to restaurants and hotels. And that's when the decoy carving industry or the decoy making industry really took off. And that continued to about 1916 when the federal laws were enacted to protect waterfowl and shorebirds especially. Each one has to sit in the water absolutely level. If it doesn't, it's not going to fool the ducks. So I have to take each one after it's carved, put it in a tank of water, and then adjust it by attaching a weight to the bottom in the proper position so it sits absolutely level. The weights that I use now are copies of old originals that were used back around the turn of the century, which I had to make a mold for because the originals just aren't available anywhere. And what this does is, once it's attached to the bottom of the bird, it serves both as a keel to keep the bird steady in the water, as well as a weight to keep it level. Another very important factor in a decoy is that when you're out there in the dark and you're putting them out in the water, they have to be self-righting. If you throw one in the water, it's got to wind up right side up. If one's upside down, all your work's for nothing. And so that's another reason why they're weighted and balanced. I was hunting with this one. This one I've been hunting with now for about 10 years. And you can see it's a little beat up, but it's still in pretty good shape. But I was hunting with this last year, and I had it out in the water in front of my blind. And it was a slow morning, but from nowhere a goshawk came in from behind me and just clipped the bird on the head, just enough to rock it in the water. Then the goshawk peeled around and climbed, waiting for the ducks to take off so it could hit one. And when that didn't happen, they goshawk turned around and left. But that made this my favorite decoy, and if it fools a goshawk, it'll fool a duck. And so this is one of my favorites.
You can see and purchase Jonathan Dowdle's work at the Cherry Branch Gallery on Main Street in Cherry Valley, or visit MohawkValleyLiving.com for contact information.
Loomis gang lived long ago near Sangerfield, counterfeited, murdered, and stole. They sold stolen horses they had hidden in the swamp. A ruthless bunch of criminals, I'm told. As legend goes, Wash Loomis still rides his horse.
Here's what's hot on the lot at Skinner Auto. Check out this hard-to-find 15-passenger wagon. It's great when you need to transport a lot of people. Only 24,000 miles, now only $25,650. One of the many pre-owned vehicles priced to move at Skinner Auto. Shelter is the place for extraordinary custom furniture, designed by Jim Kiefer and built to your specifications. You'll find Adirondack rustic furniture as well as fine hardwood kitchen cabinets, bedroom and dining room sets, and the exclusive line of Old Hickory at Shelter on Main Street in Old Forge. The Longaretta Law Firm, protecting your rights and advising you in matters of legal importance. Call for your free consultation, 735-6162. The perfect wedding, the perfect retreat, the perfect weekend getaway. The Oneida Community Mansion House, perfect for any occasion. Call 363-0745. Expecting company? Just call DEANSBORO Superette. They prepare delicious Middle Eastern platters for any number of guests. Call 841-4377. Savor the flavor of authentic Southeast Asian cuisine at the Lotus Garden Noodle and Sushi House. The Pooh family welcomes you to lunch or dinner at the Lotus Garden, 339 Bleecker Street in downtown Utica. If you're in a collision, you need precision. Call your insurance company first and then choose Precision Unlimited, providing expert auto body collision repair since 1987 on Route 5 in Clinton. Plan a visit to the Arkell Museum at Canajoharie this month and experience the bold Impressionist style of J. Hall Conaway. Also enjoy American paintings from the 1920s and 30s. Visit the Arkell Museum at Canajoharie, just off the thruway at exit 29. You'll find something for everyone at the Little Falls Antique Center and the Shops at 25 West. 50 local vendors offer a wide range of items, like local novels at Gansevoort Books, your source for regional books and special orders. Find affordable, one-of-a-kind handmade furniture and a variety of pellet, wood, coal, and gas stoves at Granny's Country Crafts, Arcadian Stoves and Gifts. From local books to decorative arts, home furnishings to food and kitchen items, and antiques galore. Keep your money local and your selection wide open at the Little Falls Antique Center and the Shops at 25 West. Visit MohawkValleyLiving.com for recipes, articles, blogs, and videos. Visit our new website or find us on Facebook.
It is hanging